Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Ooh, the double. For some reason LastPass interacts quite weirdly with my Google Live dashboard. It seems to keep wanting to like save my stream key as like a password. Hello Joshua Rampasad, hello Cactus Head, hello Zine I can't pronounce that, but hello. Hello the Terrarian. I don't know why I've got this mic here. Hello Sammy Welland. Hello Arthur Dewat, hello Finn Bartlett. Hello everybody. You know what I need to do before we kick this off? I should probably get an updated list of my patrons into my overlay. Probably would be a good idea. Oh hey, this is the code from the latest part of the platform series, coming to a YouTube near you next Friday. Or immediately if you happen to be one of my patrons. Of the $5 plus variety. Hello X8 Squish, hello Tokep2. Why do I even keep my overlay these days? It'll be in local projects, right? Is this the latest version? One way to find out. I wish you the best of luck with that, Sammy Welland. Hope it's going well for you. Hope you're enjoying them. Hello, Rudra. Alright, I need to sort my monitors out. This is a bit far away. I don't know how I've got my desk into a bit of a weird shape. There we go. I can see a bit better now. I've got the old chrono lapse on the go to help me this time, but every time I do time lapses as a sequence of images, I don't know why, but for some reason I have a massive problem getting the resulting video to work. I don't know why, but we're going to try it again anyway, because it's a lot easier than putting than just recording all weekend, which is a lot of stress for the old computer. Ashar is legit just releasing to my platformer tutorial. Congrats on your release, Rascal. Hello, Oof Oof. Okay, okay. Is this the one? I think this is the one. Yeah. Ooh, yep. Let's not show all of that stuff. Does it have thing I'm not seeing in here? Let's move this over here because it will have some. The only problem with working on this overlay is doing that on stream. It's got loads of like keys and OAuth stuff in it that you don't really want to share around. I'm just gonna put up like a wall comment for myself, just like a "don't scroll past here on stream, you doofus." And I'm just gonna like paste that like 100 times and see if that helps. Doesn't really matter. I don't think anyone's really gonna abuse it or would even necessarily know how, but and those that know how probably wouldn't do it. So yes, Twitch 0, YouTube on both 2. Okay, yeah, and it is in mode 2, so this is the most up-to-date version of it, I believe. It still crashes now and again. I still don't really know why. So I might, if I look in, let's say async networking. What do I do when that happens? Let's just get all that message stuff right. I don't think that crashes it. Because, I mean, this is all the same stuff I use in Tribal Tension, and that doesn't crash. This was all commented out stuff for mode 0 is Twitch only, right? So, I don't know whether it's all in a block by itself, but that shouldn't matter. Well, JSON is async load result. Can async load? I mean, if I got a HTTP response, it shouldn't really matter what this comes back with, right? But let's middle click it anyway. How does async load work again? Let me get restream chat up as well so I can see what people are saying without having to change tabs constantly. That would be for the best. Wow, it's taken some work to load this up. Why do I still have Audition open as well? I'll close this down. This is catching up with everyone from before. What program language uses GameMaker Studio 2? GameMaker Studio 2 has its own built. Yeah, well, what that guy said. I'm going to continue with a complete platformer tutorial. Yes, I literally just uploaded an episode of it. It won't be public until next Friday, but if you're a patron of mine, you can see it right now. Part 23. Stop watching Cartoon Network, just watch your amazing stream, which I have to go soon. Well, thank you. Hey TJ. Hey, I Gamer Diamond Ryan B. Am I getting Twitch in this? I'm not seeing the Twitch messages. Re-listening to my phone. There should be all chats. Patreon hype. Rascar99. Ah, there we go. Yeah, you're in there. Okay, I just wasn't getting old ones, and that makes sense based on how based on working with YouTube's API and how it works. It makes sense that would work like that in the same way. Cool. Alright, so now I can pop this over here and keep an eye on it. A little bit easier. Let's move my browser window around. Man, I could use a third monitor just for doing jams. Excited for this jam? Are you taking part? Balonsic VZ. Finally able to work in a gameplay. Cool. Good to hear. So I mean, my overlay is behaving itself right now, but I do know that it crashes. So I just want to take a quick look into why, and then once I'm done with this, we'll take a look at some of the themes for LD Jam as well. The variable is global. I quite like a lot of the themes. I've only voted up 4 of them, but I like them nonetheless. I think they look cool. I just chose to be picky because I figured if I like all of them, I may as well be picky, right? Which is different from how I used to do it. I used to just vote everything up. But now I've kind of fallen into line with everyone else, and I kind of vote down almost everything. There's a small window in the bottom. If you're referring to the stream, that's the chat window. It shows all the chat messages, so you can basically see when I get to see the messages. And you can also see the messages from the other platforms. So if you're on Twitch, you can see all the messages from the people on YouTube, and vice versa if you're on YouTube. Here's a joke, -1. I don't get it, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Hope I win the Ludum. Oh gosh, that would be something. Probably not gonna happen, but we're gonna make the best thing we can, whatever that is. Async loads. This variable is global in scope and is used to hold the S map when -1 at all other times. And the actual context of the S map will depend on the type of asynchronous event that is populated. Okay, so it could be a problem if I don't think it would cause a straight up crash if I tried to get a map out of something that wasn't a map, right? This just assumes that this is a DS map no matter what, right? But when the async HTTP event goes off, I should always have a map, right? I think it's triggered by the callback from HTTP functions. It actually generates DS map. Yeah, okay, so it'll always have it. If map is not -1. That's assuming that result came back -1. The data received string only, or the path to the file downloaded. Okay. I think this is going to take a long time to try and break this down. It's going to have to be another time. The thing is, it's always like when I'm about to do a jam, I'm just like, I should work on my overlay and like upgrade it and fix some of the things, and then the jam ends and like it never occurs to me to work on the thing again until the next jam, and then it's like, oh no, I've no time to work on it. Yeah, it's really hard because I can't reproduce the problem. I can just keep fixing potential holes. Thing is, I still feel like anything that goes wrong with the map getting the wrong values and that kind of thing should, in theory, throw an actual error message out, right? Like, it should throw a game maker error. This is like, this variable is the wrong thing, but it just straight up dies. Like, it just closes. I don't know why. I feel like I should have something like the overlay like saving to a log file, like every time I start it. And then maybe I could see exactly where it crashes. Does output, can you do that with the output window anyway? I should be able to just take this output window and just be like logging it somewhere or something. Maybe you can do that, I don't know. I have no plans to release my overlay as it currently stands because it's a bit of a mess. I always thought I could clean it up and release it one day maybe, but loads of people do that. Like, there's all kinds of stuff like that about already, I guess. I don't know. I might do it if there's interest, if people would be interested in it. In fact, I have a version of it. Like, I have a tutorial on how to make the Twitch chat stuff. I don't think it doesn't cover like getting YouTube and stuff in there as well, but there's a tutorial on doing the Twitch chat stuff. And I'm pretty sure that comes with some sort of source code as well. I'm not sure. Which Game Maker version am I using? I'm using Game Maker Studio 2. I have the developer edition or what? I don't know. Whatever the one-time license thing is. What like the one step up from Creator Edition or whatever it is. And I have a bunch of the other things as well, so I have like mobile and stuff too. Yeah, I don't know. Depends if I ever get time. Anyway, let's take a look at LD Land anyway, rather than just me pottering about with this overlay. You know, let's get to where we're going. I'm going for it to start and one. Wow, it's weird. It's weird starting at 11. And the thing is, I'm not really going to start at 11, right? I'm going to do the same thing I always do, despite the change in time. Is what I used to do was stay up until the theme was announced, Sometimes even cut the theme stream before then, because 2 a.m. is pretty late. But I would usually stay up till the theme was announced, or like set an alarm in my bed when it's announced. Check what the theme is, and be like, oh, that's one of the ones I voted down. And then I think about it, and go to bed. And then I wake up the next day, hopefully with kind of an idea forming by the morning. And I crack on from there. Sometimes I don't really settle on what it is I'm doing until like 1 in the afternoon on the Saturday. These things happen, But it's the strat I'm used to, which is just, oh, excuse me, hear the theme, ponder it, and sleep on it. That's generally the plan. So I'm going to do the same thing here, and I figure it should just be more effective, because if it's like 11 o'clock's like a decent time to go to bed anyway, right? So I can have it can come out, and I can be like, oh, and we can go to bed. Whatever happened to PokePoke, I'm still working on it. I just haven't worked on it in a while because I've not had any time. Simple as. Yeah, I mean, you might have noticed if you've watched a lot of my stuff, there's a huge gap in tutorial videos and stuff happening. Like, that wasn't like me going off and working on PokePoke, unfortunately. It was a ton of different horrible things, which meant I couldn't do any work for a while on PokePoke or videos or anything, so I was just gone. So I'm back, and I've been working on catching up with my video stuff, which I've more or less done now, and now I want to get back into working on PokePoke, but it's, it's a climb to get back fully on that wagon. 11 seconds from chat, that's pretty good by Twitch standards. Oh, YouTube standard, well, I don't know what YouTube standard really is, but stream standards generally. It's like, that's god tier for tribal tension. I was looking for themes. Also, join event, that's probably a good idea. Would you like to create a game before a team member? You need to make or join a game before you can create a blog post. Okay, great. Watching title, unpublished game, blah, 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 blah. Cool, we have a game. If you're entering Ludum, you don't have to worry too much about that. I recommend doing it. Like, go get yourself logged in, hit join event, and create the game. But don't worry about it if the, like, oh god, we got to do that before the thing starts. You've no rush. Then it takes 2 seconds, so I would do it anyway. But it doesn't matter if you do it like mid-event or anything like that. Theme, that's what I was looking for. So yeah, this is the wall of red, where I have voted down like everything. I was trying to zoom in there, but my mouse wheel is having none of it. Trying to alt forward. Oh, alt's doing a weird thing. Wait, no! Wow. Oh god! No. Am I doing the wrong? Oh, it's control. What am I doing? Alt is not the correct key input for that. Anyway, my game. I didn't accidentally undo my game. Good. Back to. Under I-32. Theme. There we go. I was trying to zoom in. That's what we were trying to get. Pre-jam. It is now is pre-jam. Before the jam. Don't do bad. I'll try. Hey, Depils. So I mean, I kind of like most of these, which I know seems to contradict the fact that I voted everything down. But I figure, like, I usually vote when I like everything. I usually voted everything up because it's like I like that, I like that, I like that. But I figure there's not really a lot of point in doing that if I like everything. If I like everything, I should just be even pickier and just going for the ones I really like, you know? Why not? It's just a voting thing, you know, it's not... You know, I'm not disparaging a theme by voting it down, I'm just saying I'd prefer this other one. So that's what I've kind of done. I might change my mind on some of these as we go down them, though. I got depressed from the... Don't know what you mean. Hey Sean, doing another LD marathon stream this weekend? Yes, that's the plan. I mean, you call it a marathon stream, but I mean, I'll obviously still be taking it down to sleep and eat and so on. My main for Street Fighter V is not playing the damn game. My main for Street Fighter 5 is Street Fighter 4. Evolve more red walls than other people's. Yeah, like that's most people do it, and I think I'm kind of. I used to be like, why so negative, man? But I kind of get it now. Like, you may as well just vote the ones you really like up, even if you do like more of them, you know. I think I used to just look at people voting like this and think, man, why do they hate all those themes? It's not that they hate all these themes. I mean, they might, I don't know, but more for me, it's that if I have any kind of level preference, I should show that by voting down the ones I don't prefer and the ones I do. So, favorite game that I made? I guess another perspective, just because it's the most finished. You know, I guess sell it and everything. Well, my slope tutorial is not good. Oh, sorry, man. I have no idea how to respond to that. So, I legitimately do not. Running out of space. I think that's kind of cool. It's pretty good. Like, you make games where you slowly, like, something is, like, crushing inwards. I only could think of a couple of things immediately to my head for it, so I was like, oh, but don't down, but I like it as a theme. Night is coming. In fact, I am going to vote that one down, because I like some of the ones I voted down a lot more than I like Night is Coming. Time, like day-night cycles and stuff is just a bit, like, already ubiquitous in games. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that it is uninteresting, but I get the feeling you'd see a lot of very samey stuff in that, but I'm not wholly sure. It's one of my least favourite ones, but I don't actually think it's that bad of a theme. I don't really, there's maybe a couple in here I think are maybe not great, but for the most part I think they're all alright. It's dark here right now. Won't be for long, it's this blasted super summer. The slope tutorial, when the player's going down, he's jumping. Oh, you're referring to my really old slope tutorial, where I teach you just how to go up slopes. I mean, it's tough with that kind of thing, because everyone reads every tutorial thing differently, and it's just like, oh, this tutorial is going to show me how to do this, and if it doesn't show them exactly what they want to do, they're like, what the fuck, this isn't that tutorial, but words are subjective and hard, you know? But if you want to see something that tackles slopes going up and going down, I did a more recent video series on that. I did a series on tile collisions and then how to use tiles to do slopes that are arbitrary and random or whatever, and that you can walk down and you can walk up and that kind of thing. That old slope video is ancient. I don't know why anyone watches those stuff anymore. I guess it's because they're all 1.x videos still, but how much does it cost to become a patron, or however much you are willing to support me with? I recommend the lower side of that than the higher side of that, which seems like a weird thing to say. But because I would always prefer to have loads of patrons who are giving a very small amount that they aren't going to miss every month, you know, that they can really comfortably and easily give, and just have lots of people do that, and then I'm like that's better sustenance for me then I get worried when I get loads of new $20 pledges and so on that are coming in, because I'm just like, I feel bad for them. I'm like, can you afford this? I strive to give them all great content and cool stuff and help them out with their things and everything, and I offer it for a reason, you know. But I always get worried because it's a big thing, and like people come in with like $20 pledges and they're there for like 3 months, and then they leave, and on the exit survey they're just like, oh, my financial situation changed, you know, which is totally reasonable and fair enough. But then I'm like, well, why did you pledge so much in the first place? You know, you could have just pledged a smaller amount. Don't screw your finances over trying to support me, you know. So I always prefer people to. I always am much happier with a large number of low pledges. I get nervous with lots of high pledges. Anyway, that was a tangent. What anyway about you could change your stats throughout the game? Are you talking about these ideas? You get the most, in my opinion, based on the stuff I do for Patreon, I think you get the most immediate value for money out of the $5 thing. So if ever, like, if you get the $5 a month stuff, you get access to all the videos early. You get access to pretty much all the source code stuff, unless it's some huge thing that I want to reserve for the $20 people. That's really rare. The main thing with the $20 people is people who, it's more or less there for people who can comfortably just afford that, you know. And I give them a bit of extra like one-to-one help with stuff, and I give them voice shout-outs in the videos, and it's kind of like, it's just like bonus stuff piled on top, you know. But I think the main meat of all the stuff, if you're interested in the things and getting things out of it, the $5 tier is probably the best value of all my things. But I would hope generally that most people, well, I would like to think at least half of the decision being made to pledge is because you just want to see more of my stuff exist rather than getting things, you know. But I do try and make the stuff you get as cool as possible. Anyway, Decay. I really like, you can tell from the ones I voted up, I just really like one-word themes. Because they tend to be the most open. I know people who don't like open-ended themes, like, because I guess they struggle to, like, to use it for what the theme is there for, which is to use it as a launch pad or whatever. But I think if a theme just gives you a game idea, like if you see a game just pop up in your head just immediately on a theme, I feel like that's a bad sign, not a good one. I think you should have to think about it for a bit and be like, oh, okay, what are games and this, and you're more likely to come up with something other people aren't coming up with. But that depends what you want to get out of it, you know. But I really like one-word themes because they are really open. I feel like you get a wide variety of stuff, both like stuff that's more tropey or more traditional, and stuff that's weird and out there, and you're always guaranteed to see interpretations of one-word themes that you would never have thought of as a game, which is always very exciting. Safe in the Dark, I kind of don't like for similar reasons to Night is Coming. I feel like even with any theme, you get a bunch of games that like to play around, understandably, play around like the mechanics of light and dark, and like, oh, you stay in the shadows, and you go into the shadows and it's like stealth, and or you come out and it's like this, or maybe sun hurts you and the shadows heal you, and you know, lots of people already play around that kind of thing for it, and to make an entire theme around that, I don't know. I feel somewhat unconvinced by those ones. I don't think it's terrible, though. I think there's loads of cool games that can come out of it. Anyway, I don't really talk about why I liked Decay more than the fact that it's a one-word theme. I like Decay. I mean, the idea of Decay, basically, you can more or less do everything that's like running out of space and that kind of thing inside of Decay. where you've got a reduction of something over time. You've got a thing that exists and it slowly becomes not, or it slowly changes, usually in a negative or reductive way. And there's just a million and one cool game ways to interpret that, and also non-game ways to interpret that, which may lead to weird games you wouldn't have thought of, which is why I think it is cool. You made a game with my tutorials. It's called the Strike Master Official Demo. It's on Game Jolt. Please check it out. I can't right now, unfortunately, Game of Diamond, but I'm glad you found my tutorials helpful. One enemy only looks like a fun one. I'll get on to why I do think it's potentially quite cool, but I'll get on to why I voted that one down in a bit. Do melee attack for GMS2 like you did GMS1. The one-shot gamer, the melee video I did for GMS1 works in GMS2. You don't need to. You can just follow the old one. Like, it's exactly the same, like, things you have to do. I guess a new thing with very recently, I did that video on doing multiple collisions, so you can kind of combine the two to work out how to do a melee attack that hits lots of things at once, which is quite cool. Someone needs to make stuff. I mean, hey, it's all like I have the videos I made for Yo-Yo Games are that. Like, if you go to the Yo-Yo Games channel on YouTube, like, I made a beginner set of tutorials for them, which literally is like a top-down arena shooting thing. I mean, like, each time you fell, there's change. Okay, so... Okay, we talked about safe in the dark. Fragile. I like that because it can mean loads of different things, from, like, you know, just making a game where it's like one-hit kills or whatever, right? You can make a rage platformer, and that's something easy for beginners to just, like, latch onto and go nuts with. There's loads of, like, traditional game things that fit super well into that, but then there's also, like, it's this one single word that's just, like, this open-ended concept that can mean a million different things. So you see things that could be really cool. You see things about emotional fragility, or any number of different things. You know, a fragile spacecraft that you're trying to repair. It's just, I think that is prominent through games that already exist, and is also just so wide of a concept that you can't really ever, like, run it dry. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm glad I could help, Sock Gamer. Why does... There we go. For some reason the Restream iOS chat thing kept saying, like, new messages at the bottom and wouldn't let me scroll all the way to the bottom, so it was just overlaying whatever the latest message was. GM is really easy to eliminate. That's highly debatable, Alpha Alpaca. Like, you're not necessarily, like, wrong, but that's a very blanket statement that I think misses out way too much to not be somewhat misleading. It's like, you're not wrong, but you're also not really right. It's more like in certain situations that could apply, but in quite a lot it just doesn't. It's not about offense, it's just about being right or not, you know? You are the final boss. What did I think about this one? What do I think about this one? I don't know. My mind's gone blank. You are the final boss. Right. Okay. Yeah, I remember how I feel about this. So I don't tend to like any theme that includes a word or stuff from, like, some sort of tropey thing from a game inside it. And this is a classic, well, not entirely a classic, but it's a derivative of a form of Game Jam theme, almost a cliche type of Game Jam theme at this point, which is the trope inversion theme, where you take like, you are the villain. It was a classic one. We basically had like two almost in a row, or maybe it was in a row, I don't know, where it was you are the monster, and then the next LD, or like what, 2 LDs later, was you are the villain, or something like that, or maybe in reverse. And they can be really good, but I feel they lead to little experiments that don't go anywhere. Sort of, you know, like, they lead to, you invert, game designers will take a theme like that and they tend to invert that one theme and then make everything else just a very traditional game, because it's like they've already done the thing they think they needed to make the game creative and original. And it ends up just being like, they kind of be like little experiments. Like I said, they're like, well, let's see what happens if we take a normal roguelike, but you are the bad guy at the end, or whatever, right? Like what does it mean if we take this and we mix in this, or we take this well-known trope and we just sort of turn it around but create everything else the same? And I don't think they're that interesting. But as I say, I don't think they're awful themes. I'm just personally a bit tired of the trope inversion ones, because I don't think they lead to lots of cool, interesting games. Typically. Well, that's a lie. Every theme leads to loads of cool, interesting games. That's a caveat to all of this. Is it doesn't matter what the theme is, you'll get loads of cool, interesting games. But I think you can get more out of better themes that aren't just trope inversions. And you can identify trope inversions pretty easily just because they'll have a word like boss in it and stuff like that, or just a trope from games in general. And generally themes that have words like boss or enemy or and so on, that are definitely like from games that we understand and know to exist. I tend not to like those because they inherently make you assume that those things must be in the game, right? So if you are the final boss, that already presupposes your game has a boss or a final boss, right? When I'd prefer if people could make video games without even having to consider any tropes that already exist as concepts. Which I suppose is not to say that you can't do that anyway. You know, the theme is always just a rough guide of what to make. As I say, as I caveated before, like, every theme leads to loads of cool, interesting games. Ultimately, theme doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. But I love thinking about it because I'm a crazy person. Oh, there's me kneeing the table as I choose to sit on my leg, which I'm sure I'll regret in about 20 minutes. I always think if 500 people can make at least a little bit original game from the theme and decide from that, there's a good theme. You don't exist. Yeah, sure, Ludo over there, and there's always little ways around those things, but it can be hard, you know? Like, as I say, ultimately, you always get a lot of cool stuff out no matter what the theme is, but having a bad theme can put a real damper on loads of people, and there's always going to be some people that don't like it, but like, you can really make it a struggle for lots of people, or you can really create a wave of very similar games in the end result. And it doesn't make the jam bad by any means. It always just all it ends up doing is just creates that tiny little thing of like what if regret of just like, oh, maybe it could have been even better, you know. But no matter what, the theme doesn't really matter, and you'll always be able to. There'll always be people making cool stuff regardless. When do I plan on staying up till? I plan on staying up till the theme is announced, maybe 10-15 minutes afterwards, or I might just leave as and then. And then I'm gonna go think about it and go to sleep, and then I'll wake up the next day. Whenever I get up. Oh. I'll have breakfast, shower, and all that stuff. Get nice and ready. Hopefully have a vague idea of what I want to do. And kick the stream back off. And then we'll be back. It's a tough one because there's no predicting. Like, I used to try and be like, oh, maybe like 9-10 o'clock tomorrow I'll be back. It's just gonna be, I don't know. I have to be honest. I don't know. I don't know when the stream will definitely start in the morning. You like Evolve as a theme because there are lots of different ways to interpret and implement in creative ways. Yeah, and that's true of basically any theme that's just one word that's like both a thing and a concept, you know? You can literally physically evolve, you can there's just the concept of a thing growing or changing in a way or adapting to fit its environment. Or maybe not even a thing, maybe a society or a, you know, a million and one different directions. Which is why it's great. Great theme. An easy way to do amazing themes is just to pick one conceptual word. One of, like, Global Game Jam's theme when I did it was ritual. Perfect. Like, one word, you know, a million and one different things, million and one different interpretations, loads of cool games about cultists, and it was great. The more words you have, the more likely your theme is to suck, I think. And again, I always have to clarify, like, I mean suck in the least meaningful way possible, because ultimately it never really matters. That's a cool emote. Hypoo. I like that. Dying Planet, you can have a whole Superman vibe. You can have a million and one vibes. Dying Planet, I think that was a pretty decent one as well. You walked into something great. Boom, 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 boom. Well, you got a good idea. Man, I remember back in the days before there were loads of really cool game dev streamers. I used to be at the top of here with my like 20 viewers or whatever before LD. I don't think I'm not doing bad on them. I got 38. We in there. We in there. How's the oldie YouTube doing? Oh, it hasn't even updated. He's a meme. I thought he was a superhero. Back in my day. I mean, I would like to think it is still my day. Really, I shouldn't be saying back in my day. Surely these. I would hope these are still my days. I hope I'm still. These are days that are still relevant. I hope it's 30 years from now. I should be saying back in my day. Anyway, light is key. Again, I don't like it because it's just the same as night and the dark. Night is coming, light and dark. There's always like 4 themes in the final thing. That's just like, maybe you can use light and dark as like a thing. I get why people like them, and they're not even bad really. I just personally tired of light and dark nonsense. Death is useful. I feel like you're just gonna see a load of games that are like Karoshi and like that game that's a bit kind of like another perspective, but not where you play like a knight and you die on spikes and then you jump on the dead bodies and so on, and those games come immediately to mind for me as, again, kind of like trope inversions. So I'm always a little unsure about those ones. 2 points of view I don't like just because of another perspective. I'm sure it's a great theme, but for me, whenever I see those kind of things, I just immediately think another perspective, and then it's hard for me to make something new because another perspective is a game about shifting between different points of view and platform and so on. Maybe it'd be a cool challenge, I don't know, for me to take something that's very similar to that and just rock it. Sometimes I literally see like the words another perspective as the theme, or like different perspectives and so on. I'm just like, nope, I wish there was a -10 button for that, you know. 1 minute till disappointment. I think you're reading the wrong timer. We got a whole 48 minutes. It doesn't have to be a positive change as well, Balonzik. Like, you could evolve in a bad way. I mean, you could adapt to a circumstance that's then not necessarily a positive outcome overall, you know? Lots of different ways to think about the word evolve. But generally, yes, I see what you mean. Dying Planet, I think, is a cool context in which loads of different games can emerge. I used to not like themes that were just like a context, but now I think I like them a lot because it means you're not mechanically constrained. You can just create any kind of game that you think is interesting within that context. So if you just got a game you really wanted to make, you just fit it into that. And if you didn't, you have a launch pad from which to create something new, and it helps everyone, right? I couldn't think of much cool stuff I personally wanted to immediately do, so that's why I was sort of neutral about it. But I do think it's really cool, and I'm sure I would come up with something if that were the theme. So yeah, that was these two are close to being ones I wanted to vote up. I'm kind of on the fence about why I zeroed 3 rules, but I also zeroed Night is Coming, so I might rethink that one. Its spreading is cool. I think it would be even better as a theme if it were just the word spreading, because you know how I love my one-word themes. Or like some other, I don't know, crack open the thesaurus on the word spreading. I feel like there's probably another word they could use for like that. I suppose I wouldn't want to use like infect, although that would be a great one. But that's actually slightly less open than spreading is because of the implications that come behind it. I don't really want to make Udemy courses Wolf because I like making free stuff. Like, I like creating, when I create educational stuff, I like for it to be something that everyone can access, and then just add, like, in order to sustain myself in a capitalist society, and then supplement that with things people can pay for. Like the source code and little bonus extras and that kind of thing. Which I'm glad I've been able to make work, because it's kind of difficult. It would be a lot easier. I think it would be a lot easier for me to make money if I started doing things like Udemy courses, but I don't think it's for me. I don't think it's my type of thing. You got work tomorrow, but you want to make games. You got work on Saturday. Nah, that sucks. I like a lot of these. I mean, I know it looks weird because I wrote it all down, but I do think a lot of these things are really good. What would be a good theme for you, Runo? If you do Decay, you can have a zombie apocalypse in pretty much any one of these themes. I don't think that's and people will as well. The Sean DLC, if you pay $2,000, we'll reprogram the game for you in your house. See, I know you're joking and you think that that's like an extreme amount of money for an extreme silly thing, but me going to your house and coding the game would be worth way more than $2,000. Are you insane? That's like 2 months' wages, man. Like, what the hell? You come and code your entire game? Yeah, maybe if you pay me $30K or something. And it's a small game. Decay, Evolve, Dying Planet. Those are good ones. Those are good ones. Again, just one-word themes. One-word themes are the best. 3 rules, I thought was cool and interesting mechanically. Like, I feel like I've gone off mechanical themes in a lot of ways, but then when I kind of come back to kind of my roots as a designer, I think it's quite cool. And it's something I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose that part of me as a designer. Because sometimes it's weird when you kind of grow and change in like how you approach designing things. There can be this temptation to assume you're always growing and always getting better, when sometimes you can just be moving around and changing, and in ways getting worse at things. And so I had to come back and think about that one a bit more, and the more I think about it, I think it's actually pretty cool, and there's a lot of interesting thoughts you can have around making 3 different rules and making it interesting. It's an interesting launch pad, and it comes with no context and no anything, which can make it hard. I think it can be hard to come up with an idea for that one, just because it doesn't give you any kind of context, doesn't give you, you can't use it to launch into, well, it can give you certain context, but limited ones. It can be difficult to leap from that straight into a game idea, but I think if you're willing to give it enough thought, that one can be really cool. 1 enemy only. Man, I'm actually getting a bit of a headache sitting here. I hope I'm going to be okay for this 48 hours of nonsense. If it becomes adverse to my health, I will always just stop. But yeah, I'm just, I don't know, sitting here, I don't know if it's just a light off the screen and the fact that it's quite late. And the fact I've been sat doing video stuff all day as well. But yeah, I actually feel really quite fatigued and a bit of a headache coming on. Anyway, I'm not going to be streaming much longer tonight anyway. 1 enemy only. Again, this is the same thing with like mentioning like an enemy. Why does your game have to have why do we presuppose that the game must have enemies, you know? I think, well, I wouldn't actually go so far as to say it's an absolute. I think it's not too unreasonable to presuppose the existence of rules in a game, right? Generally speaking, and for most people's definition of like game would probably include the mention of rules, right? But enemy is a much more specific thing, you know? And it presupposes making a game with some sort of conflict and some sort of enemy. And I know there are ways to subvert that and so on, but most people wouldn't, you know? Best streamer ever? Well, thank you. Thanks, Runo. Jam anxiety? You have to remember that there's no prize and none of it matters. Like, the prize for taking part in this is just the game that you get out of the end of it. And if that game is terrible and you make something rubbish, you still probably learned a ton on your way there. You can break down why it was terrible, you know? You can break down everything that went wrong. You can, you know, you can learn like, oh, was my idea, was it, you know, the idea was poorly bad, or was it just poorly executed? How should I approach this kind of thing next time? What could I do better? So like, that's the main thing I would say for anyone who's nervous or anxious about doing a jam, is that the worst possible scenario in taking part in a jam is that you learn loads of things about your horrible failure, you know, like, I tell a lie, the worst possible thing is for you to quit like an hour in or whatever, right? And it's like because like you couldn't come up with any ideas and you're just like, I can't do it. But then, yeah, you get your weekend back, you know? So, yeah, so I'd always suggest, like, even if you're really struggling to come up with a thing you think is good, go with something you think maybe is not so good. I don't know. I suppose you've got to have fun with it, haven't you? So if you can't think of anything you think is going to be at least fun for you to work on, then I guess maybe don't do it. But like, yeah, that's the main thing, is like, there's no point being anxious because none of it matters, and the worst outcomes of taking part are quite good, you know, like, or at least not really very bad. I mean, those are general advice I give around most anxieties, but I know that doesn't always help with most anxieties, because the point is you can understand that there's no bad outcome, but it doesn't matter, you know, I guess, and you still just feel anxious, so I don't know. What didn't I notice? I do not have a donate button that appears on stream. You might, unless you did like a super chat. Oh, you did do a super chat. Sorry, yeah, the problem with that, they used to come up. Thank you, Hey It's Wolf, for the 99 cents. They used to come up in the restream chat overlay, but it did not. Where did you, Gamer Diamond, that's where you said that. Why is that not working? Yeah, cool stream when I get Hey It's Wolf. Yeah, you did like a heart, and then the super chat came up here. Sorry about that. I hate not noticing those, because that's awful, right? You donate and you're just like, oh man, I can't wait until you see something. This is gonna be like so uplifting and cool for everyone, and then I don't even notice. It's awful. I hate it. Thank you very much. I need to work out something that properly captures those, and like, I don't know, maybe does a ding or something on the overlay. But because I code all this stuff myself rather than getting Nightbot or whatever it is, all the streamers use, it means it takes forever for me to get these things because I build them all myself. Yeah, it's a pain. I swear the chat thing used to highlight those, does it not? Top chat only filters. Does I have an option in here or not? Notifications. Yeah, they used to come up in like a big blue thing on the Restream IO thing. It came up on my dashboard. I do use OBS. I might be just wearing these headphones for a long time as well. I don't usually wear headphones. Might be giving me a headache. You Are the Final Boss is the worst theme IMO. It's one of my least favourite ones. I don't know that it's that bad though. Chances are the theme will get announced. It'll be one of the ones I voted down, because it always is. And then in the morning I'll be like, man, this theme sucks. I can't come up with anything for it. Despite, like, you know, 12 hours earlier being like, I think all the themes are quite good and the theme doesn't really matter. How many games did I make? Too many. I don't know. Most of my games are jam games though. Like, I don't have a lot of like commercial stuff out. But I've also worked on AAA things. I worked on The Crew. It's my AAA claim to fame. Every other AAA game I worked on got cancelled. other than a very tiny amount on Driver San Francisco, I guess. Not to donate, but your mom won't let me. That's her prerogative, Gamer Diamond or Ryan V. You listen to your mother. Don't you worry. I got your donation in my heart, so you know, don't don't worry about it, man. You don't have to donate. Just enjoy the ride. No one has to donate. How will I be managing my time? Work for a while tonight and not much sleep, or design now and wake up to program in the morning? What I'm gonna do is hear the theme and just think about it. Like I'm not gonna make any big diagrams. I'm not gonna like do any crazy mind maps or spreadsheets, or be like I'm not gonna plan. Like I saw someone else streaming. They had like a big spreadsheet and they're trying to come up with ideas for all the different themes or whatever. Can't be asked for that, man. Like, I'll think about it when it happens. You know, I'm not going to invest loads of creative thought and energy into trying to come up with game ideas for a million and one different things. Like, who cares? Because if I do that, I'll get really attached to some of the ideas, to some of them, and I'll just be like, oh no, I didn't get to make that one. So sorry, I go off on tangents so easily. My plan for managing my time is 11 o'clock will roll around, we'll see what the theme is. I'll be like, oh cool, thanks for watching guys, I'm off. Or we might talk about the theme a little bit here for a little bit, but probably only 5-10 minutes. Then I'm going to go away, go to sleep, sleep on the idea, sleep on the theme. Hopefully come up with something cool by the morning. And if not, then the morning might consist of me coming up with stuff, and I might draw like a mind map and think about the theme a bit more. I sometimes do that. Or I might be like nailing down the idea and drawing some diagrams of what certain screens are going to look like. I may or may not stream that part depending on how comfortable I feel with it. Sometimes I like to not stream while I'm thinking the ideas, because like there's sort of that pressure of having a lot of people watching, trying to think while you're trying to come up with stuff can be tough. So it depends how I feel, whether or not I'll be streaming immediately in the morning. But yes, I'm going to get sleep. I'm going to get sleep immediately after the theme is announced, or very soon after the theme is announced. And then I'll work through the day, and then when it gets late, I'll go to sleep. Then I'll wake up, and then I'll work through the next day. Only a fool will try and work like a full 48 hours on it. You might get away with it, especially if you're really young and you've got a lot of energy drinks and you're just, you're powering through or whatever, and it might get you more time, but one, I'm not convinced it really gets you a lot productivity-wise to do that kind of thing. I think you just work so slow when you're really tired. But I suppose, and if you're countering that by downing like tons of energy and stuff like that, you're not doing your body any good, you know? Like it's not good for you. And making a cool game in 40 hours, like it's fun, cool, and everything, but it's not worth hurting yourself over, you know. So drink lots of water, get lots of sleep, work smart. I was reading this to see if there's anything that like did like a pingy thing whenever I got a. Doesn't look like it though. With the display showing out window. No, I don't know. Who knows? Will I stream my entire progress? Yeah. As I said, like there's sometimes moments like in the early stages when I'm trying to come up with an idea that I tend not to stream. But I might, it depends how I feel. But otherwise, like all of the building of the game, that'll all happen on stream. I mean, I reserve the right to just decide not to if for some reason I really need to I feel like I need to just concentrate on it or whatever. But I don't feel like I take it seriously, and like, I don't feel like I overinvest myself that much in it to the point where I'd be like, I need to finish finish this and I must concentrate and must cull the stream. So I don't tend to do that, but I could see myself doing that. Potentially, I suppose. Did I go to college to learn coding? Not really, no. I could have done some coding at university, but I chose not to do those modules. I learned kind of through a weird long process of starting with click and play and doing drag and drop stuff, which isn't code, but drag and drop stuff is still, you're still learning the logic, you know, and then when you learn the logic you can move on to doing, I did little codes and different things, and it's all just sort of built up over time. How many times does Ludum host game jams? Yeah, like roughly every 4 months. It's like every quarter or something like that, right? Or is it just flat every 4 months? Maybe it is, I don't know. Do I have a plan to do... Do I have a plan to do a group? I love working on game jam stuff in teams, and I did that for, well, I sort of did it for GM48, where I reached out over Twitter and got a couple of people to help with the art and sound, and they're still helping with that game today, which I'm still working on, called Pokepoke. I can show you, like, there's like what that game jam eventually led to. I don't even know where Pokepoke even is right now. It's amazing. GM48 Pokepoke. I haven't touched it in a while because I've just not had any goddamn time. 303, is that the latest one? Don't think it is. GF post. Must be, wow. Oh no, 27. Yeah, that's the latest one then. So I've got it there, okay. No, there's no prize for Ludum Dare. Hey, so the prize is just making a cool game in 48 hours. That's the whole reason people do it, is because they want to make games. There's too many rules that you have to like follow, like kind of in spirit as well, to like it would change a lot about the jam if there were a prize. So I don't think there never really will be. There are jams that do prizes and things. GM48 tends to do stuff with Game Maker and Game Maker licenses and things like that. So here's a game. This started off at this isn't the jam version. This is a lot of stuff out of this since the jam version. But this is Pokepoke. Frame rate's a bit choppy, but that's because my computer's doing a lot of stuff right now. I'm still, like, I think as well another thing was, like, stopped me working on this, because I have had a little bit of time recently I could have spent on it, but I've spent thinking about it rather than working on it. Where I'm trying to think exactly where I want to go with it, because I'm basically staring down a crossroads now with, like, a few different directions the game could take, and it's like time I need to commit to one of them and just one of them. And that's where the game is more like the kind of rage platformer it almost is now, like where it's like, because it is really hard. It's harder than I'm making it look right now for like new people to play. And so whether or not a part of me wanted to play, just lean into that and make it like a game that is just, yeah, it's just really hard. But I also kind of wanted to do some cool, like, there are other directions I think I could take it. And whether or not I'm going to go for this like small kind of areas that you kind of like screen at a time you kind of doing. Or whether to make it more of like a big open-ended thing. And I've kind of got like a bit of a mixture of both in the game at the moment, and I don't know if maybe I'll get away with that, and maybe it can have a wide variety of different kinds of thing, but I don't know, it's tough. It's tough to nail down what this really is. In the moment it's just kind of like this really like high skill platformer. It's very, very hard to play, very hard to get into. And a lot of the issues I have with it come down to the fact that you've got this 360 degrees of like control over the sphere, which let you do loads of cool, interesting things, like you can run off this platform and shoot yourself off like that in this really sort of dynamic, cool way. That yes, you could do with a more lenient input system, but it wouldn't be or feel the same. And that's the sort of thing that makes me think, well, let's just lean into the difficulty of it then, you know? But there's something I don't like about making games that only a small number of people can really play. Open that, bomb comes out. If you have armor and a sprite, and the sprite is different, could you put armor on the sprite without editing the sprite? Yeah, I mean, you could draw a sprite over another sprite. Or using, you know, draw sprite. Ah. Those transitions are always awkward as well, moving from like down to up on a screen that slides. And given the game is mostly about climbing, I really need to get those to feel right. It's helped by the fact that you can hold the button down to stand and stuff, but it's all just a bit too fuzzy at the moment, you know, it's not clear enough what the game is, in a way. And it's really hard to make it generate a consistent experience right now. See, for a certain type of player as well, a lot of this stuff's really easy, and that's the really difficult thing. Is for some people it's just impenetrably ridiculous, and some it's just like, actually it's quite easy. Especially on mouse and keyboard, like there's a huge difference between playing this game on mouse and keyboard and playing it on a pad. Like, it's tending to make it mouse keyboard only, but then it's like, that really is an accessibility nightmare, you know? Like, you gotta have two hands and be reasonably good at using them both, and I don't know. Do I make my own pixel art? No, for this game, I did the spear and the spikes and a couple of other little things, but most of the stuff that's any good, like the character and all this artwork and the diamonds and the cool flashy thing on the diamond, is done by Inked Splat. Well, that's his name on Twitter anyway. Philip Ross? I can't pronounce his last name. Sorry if you're out there. Because he's the guy I messaged during the jam. So like, hey, well actually I put out a call and he messaged me. I'm just like, hey, I can do the artwork for your game. And so he's been helping me do the artwork for it. Man, what is this frame rate? Guessing I'm probably gonna have to do it. I've got loads of stuff running that I shouldn't have running. So after I go to bed tonight, what I am gonna do is shut down my computer and start it again. Oh, I should put the timer on. I used to always do that, and now I just can never be bothered setting it up. The choppy frame rate is making it really hard to actually This is actually it's really hard to do this bit on pad, but on mouse and keyboard it's usually really easy. But I'm having a tough time. I don't know if it's just the frame rate or if I'm just bad right now. Maybe both. The diamond at the end is just called "Wow, nice one" because it really is super hard to do on pad. I think like 2 people did it over the course of the Norwich Festival where I was showing it off. I don't really want to do traditional enemies because I don't know, like, that's just all video games and it's a little bit boring to me. What I do want to do is some things where like there's like these bugs that are like carry rocks on their back or whatever, and that you could stab and like ride them kind of, and that kind of thing, or creatures that you could like ride on top of, like big things made of stone or whatever, like in a Shadow of the Colossus type of way. There we go. But not massively keen on having things we kill with the spear. I don't know why, it's just not interesting to me right now. You're raging here, please. Sorry. I like this one as well. Just because you launch across like that. It's just a really cool one to get. Loads of people initially, when they came to this, I didn't have those spikes there initially, so people would just like find ways to like bounce their way up in a way that I didn't even think was possible. Where they would do like, well, maybe I can't even do it. Can't do much right now. I'm blaming the frame rate, but I also haven't played it in forever, so I might also just be really bad. Yeah, you could like do that and end up there and stuff. But that movement is so cool. Yeah, he might have been delayed, or maybe he just came back. So you put that in there, that gets rid of the spikes, and you bring it back. Yeah, it's Pokeball, not stabby stab. Right? I'm getting this one can be kind of fun as well. Yeah, my frame rate is going to hell in here though. Let's close this for now. Let's close Game Maker. I think Game Maker might be lagging a bit as well. I didn't finish going over these actually. How long we got left? 17 minutes. Oh, Jesus Christ, Quill AD with the 1,000 viewers out. One enemy. Yeah, so I talked about one enemy only and how I'm not super keen on the notion of what do we call it? Themes that use tropes that already exist in video games. That presuppose things. I think it's fine as a theme. Like, there's lots of good things to say about it as a theme. But you give me any excuse to vote you down, I vote you down, because I like to vote up the things I think are the absolute best ones now. 1 minute, I think, is alright. We've seen loads of like time constraint themes before, where it's just like 10 seconds, just arbitrary unit of time, you know, amount of time just being the theme. And they can be really interesting, and just seeing like what things can you do that are centered around a specific period of time. But for me, I just don't have a lot of interesting stuff I want to do in that space. I'm sure loads of people will do cool stuff though. And you control the environment, not the player. I swear that's in like every time. I don't think it's bad, because what it does is actually does the kind of opposite of this stuff, because it tells you to not even presuppose there is a player in a way. And just have you controlling environment, because it can be very like a thing I do a lot is most of my games, most jam games have an O player in them, right? A player object. And it can be a nice challenge just to try and make something where you don't have that, or it's not the main controls. I don't think that one's too bad. I might link that back to. Oh, maybe I can't now. I don't know. Oh, session expired. Yes, that's probably a bug. Also, yeah, minute exists, which is kind of like, man, that'd really suck for JW or those guys if they were taking part in Ludum. Sorry. Oh, this round has ended. I can't take it back. Never mind. That's fine. But I think there's an argument for maybe putting that on the same tier as these ones, which is rare because it's like 1,000,000 words, and I think like most themes that are 1,000,000 words are bad. Hello, I'm RH Miner. We got 15 minutes until this kicks off. I say kicks off until I basically go to bed. Which is cool because that means I actually get to go to bed like vaguely on time rather than at 2 AM. Sorry, I was just answering a tweet. Controlling environment was just SimCity. I mean, I guess you could look at that way as well, but floating islands theme, is that in this? I always loved that. Like, it's always, I feel like it's always usually in one of the final rounds. Is it in round 3? Oh my days, what's going on here? The website falling apart. Is everyone refreshing too much? Or is this just a bug with the site? Yeah, I don't know. But usually, yeah, that is usually in one of the rounds, and I always vote it up. I think floating islands, I don't know, I want to make a floating island game. I just like the context. But people tend to be all, it's just a context, give me some sort of mechanical constraint, and I am much more the other direction these days. You always submit it. I don't think I've ever, I mean, I think I've only ever submitted themes to like 2, but like, they've never even gone to like any of the final rounds, I don't think. I'll explain how this works. You're new. So I'm going to make a game in 48 hours. I'm not going to be working the entire 48 hours because I'm not insane. But at 11 o'clock tonight, a theme will be announced based on a bunch of rounds of voting that the community of people have done, and we'll be making games vaguely centered around those themes, although they don't even have to be centered around the theme. The idea is it's just a a way to give you an idea, you know, a way to kickstart your thing. But it is also one of the voting categories. So, and then after 11 o'clock, everyone will start working on their games, or I won't. I'll be going to sleep and then working on it the next morning, because everyone needs to get to sleep. People in different time zones might have it differently, so they'll be working on it right away and that kind of thing. And then 48 hours from now, we'll be required to submit a game. Or there's a relaxed version of the jam. So there's two versions, right? There's the compo, which is the hardcore 48-hour version. And then there's the jam version, which is the more relaxed 72-hour version that you can do in teams. They go on at the same time. So if you're in the last few hours and your game is not coming together, you can say, screw it, I'm going to do the jam instead, and then you get another 24 hours, which is really cool. And then at the end, once that's done, everyone who's made a game plays everyone else. Well, you don't play everyone else's game because you get thousands of these submitted, but you play as many other games as you can, as many of the least popular games as you can, to try and get everyone's played and everyone's voted for, and you rate them on various different categories, how fun they are, graphics, and all that fun jazz. You leave comments and reviews, and people talk about one of those games, be like, oh, this is really cool, you could have you thought about doing this, and so on and so forth, and it's all really great. And then a few weeks of that happens, and then results get announced, where like all the voting comes in, and people, you know, win first through third on various different categories. On you get a placing. Well, you'll get, if you get enough votes for your game, you'll get a position somewhere. So like some of my games, well, it's not for Ludum 42. So these are some of my games from, well, I've done loads more than this for Ludum. I've been doing it since like number 30, but the new website came in for Ludum 38-ish, I think, so these are the ones that have been on there since then. And if I look at Tribal Tension, because that got a really cool position, one of them, I got 3rd place on Innovation, which I felt pretty cool about. 22nd overall as well isn't bad, really. Tribal Tension was sick. I really enjoyed making that. And there's no prize. It's just, you know, you just compete for the sake of competing and getting better at making games and learning a lot about making games, and having a cool game that you've made by the end of it. That's the main reward. So that's what's going on. Embrace the lag. I kind of want to bring it to like be able to control it over YouTube and stuff as well at some point. And I don't know. I'm still like I kind of got to a point with Tribal Tension where it's just like I don't really know where I'm going with it now, so it got a bit stuck. The prize is sleep. No, you get sleep during the jam. And then that sleep powers you and makes you more productive when you're awake. Can you use assets that I've created but still give you credit? Not if you're doing the compo. If you're doing the 48-hour competition, you have to create all art assets, all sound, all stuff like that by yourself within the 48 hours. If you do the jam, the rules are more relaxed, but you're still better off using stuff that at least your team have created, or at least using good derivatives. There's a whole rules thing on this. Oh man, the whole website seems to be a bit in a state right now. Oh, is he doing a thing where he's like listing the themes? See, a lot of people do that. I don't know if he is. A lot of people list the themes and just like try and come up with an idea for like every theme, and I feel like that would be horrible to do, because then if you come up with an idea you really like and then that theme doesn't get picked, that sucks. I just don't think about it until it starts. I don't know, maybe I'm wasting time. 9:32 starts in less than 30 minutes. Ludum 42 coming. Yeah, I don't know what the crack is with the website. Anyway, let's go back to regular Zoom. What was my first LD? Let's take a look. So, Sean.js. So this was the old website. And so I did Ludum 30. What was the question again? Oh yeah, so what was my first one? It was Plane Stroller for Ludum 30. And I made a thing where there's a little wizard and you're walking around and every few seconds the world changes. I think it used to be on a button, but then I made it so like it's just like every few seconds. And you had to like remember the layout and like move to the right places and stuff and solve weird little puzzles. That was quite fun. Ended up being quite similar in another perspective because it was hard to get away from because the theme was Connected Worlds, which is very similar to another perspective, which was really lame for my first ever Ludum Dare. Sleep, hydration, and cookies. 5 minutes. I always wanted to create a classic 2000 RTS, but making the units collide was also my problem. Collisions is tough, man. Collisions is tough. But give you credit, can I? And don't use other people's stuff. There you go. Just don't. If in doubt, just don't. Right? Do it if you know what you're doing. You know, like if you know how to make a good derivative of something. Which I was going to show. I was going to look at the rules page on here, but the website's being banned, so. I mean, especially if you're not talking about Ludum Dare and you're talking about your own game thing, then definitely don't use my assets, you know. Play a bit of gun that shoots bees. I don't think I actually had that. Did I upload it as a web version? I don't know. No, I just uploaded the Windows version. Anyway, my computer's being a bit slow right now, so I'm just gonna have to hang out on, but I can't bother to like restart or anything now for the sake of the next 10 minutes or whatever. So I'm just gonna write it out. No problem, Carl's Rutch Arno. Glad to hear it. Sean, do you have to create the fonts too? No, you don't have to create your own fonts. I wish I could load up the rules right now because this clarifies all these things. But just try and make sure you've got permission to use whatever fonts you're using, but you don't have to create your own fonts. There we go. I think it's probably just under a lot of pressure right now. Poor website. One minute. Let's keep an eye on the Twitters. Do we want this relaxing music? Do we want something more intense for when the theme's about to come out? Or no, let's stay relaxed. Let's just relax. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the theme is. Just chill. I'll turn it up a bit. There we go. What's it gonna be? I don't even remember what the options are. I'm gonna look at it and be like, I have no idea, and then I'm gonna go to bed. That's pretty much how it's gonna happen. The rules won't load. Anyway, if you want to know stuff about the rules, just go to the website. I was trying to do it for you and help you out, but no, you don't. Anyway, fonts. Yeah, there is a specific exception mentioned in the compo section. You don't have to make your own fonts, but you do have to have permission to use the fonts that you use. Meaning, if you need to buy the fonts or whatever, you probably need to do that. But go, is it? It seems to be go time. Help me out, Twitter. Help me out, Twitter. What's the theme? What we doing? Theme for Lone 2 is running out of space. What did I vote that one again? I think I voted it down. I must have voted it down. It won. I must have voted it down. Running out of space. It's always the one that's like 5 words long as well, and it's like awkwardly written, and it just instantly makes me feel a bit down about it. But it is a good. I think it's a good one. I think it's a pretty good one. I think there's a lot that can be done with this, because space itself is a wide concept, right? It could mean literally outer space, you can mean spaces in the room that you have, and just, you know, space in that concept of just like, you know, what is space and what is not space, is interesting. There's nowhere to download Tribal Tension at the moment, unfortunately. Cleven. I suppose you can download the version from the LD site, but you can download the source code, but then you have to like edit it and put it in your own like Twitch stuff to get it to work. It's kind of hard to get to work by yourself. Running out of space. Interesting. I have no idea what I'm going to make for this. I like the idea already of doing some sort of RTS-y thing. Because I like that. That's an itch I like scratching in game development. Because I like trying to do some stuff that doesn't have player objects and that kind of thing. So I like that. Don't worry, Bruno. Like, it's been 5 seconds. I won't worry about it. Give yourself some time. Another thing you should know as well, if you get nervous about coming up with ideas and stuff like that, is that I, at least, and lots of people, won't have an idea that we've committed to until like midday tomorrow, right? Sometimes it can just hit you right away and just be like, oh, I want to make this, and you go at it. But most of the time it takes a while. And a lot of people give the advice to throw away the first few ideas you get as well. Throw away the first few ideas you get, because someone's probably already making them, is the thing. Not that I think that's necessarily a bad thing, but FTL jumped in your mind. Spaceship that's ever getting smaller or something, or maybe, it's like space, like you're running out of space to explore because like it's being crowded in by the enemy fleets and stuff like that. That's kind of interesting. So I mean, like, yeah, I mean, you've got like every battle royale game, right? So you got those ideas where just like the thing like closes in. Don't try and make a battle royale game, any of you. Yeah, I've got a lot of interesting RTS-y thoughts, but I want to see if I can think of more things as well. So this is going to be interesting. Normally if I really wanted to start like boiling down ideas, I would open up like Photoshop and start doing like a mind map of things. I might start that now actually. I said I wasn't going to, but I might just open it and just like write a handful of things in. and then I can go away, think separately, and then I might come back and look at it and be like, oh, that paired with that other thing I thought of, and that might help too. How is my computer doing right now? I feel like it started lagging a bunch. It's been fine all day. There's always when Ludum Diary comes around, it just starts like crapping itself. No, it's just OBS. Maybe I might need to turn some settings down. I am streaming like 60 FPS for like no reason as well. So I might tone that stuff down for tomorrow. Oh, I said I was going to update my overlay for new Patreon names. I might do that in the morning before I actually start working on the thing. Yeah, I love it. How slow is this loading now? Let's just create like a thing. This is just OBS. Oh, no, this is killing it a lot as well. Is it one tab in particular? Not really. Every tab is eating a lot, so let's kill some of these. Don't really need them all. Okay. It just gave OBS more to eat. I like that. Oh, I can change rate and stuff while streaming, apparently. Let's try that, see if it breaks anything. I'll change my bitrate down a bit. And raise my CPU preset to that. Like, okay. Maybe that will, relax OBS's usage a bit. Who knows? It's just sometimes OBS goes nuts and eats all my CPU. Just sometimes. That's the weird thing that gets me about it. Game in which you are claustrophobic? Definitely a possibility. Space. So you've got like some which a million and one types of those things exist. But that's kind of like the RTS thing. Literal escape from outer space, where you tear some sort of hole in space. not going to do too much of this because I do kind of want to just go to bed. I've gotten over my headache though, I'm feeling a bit better now. Okay. There we go. The map closes in on you. The thing is, I'm stuck. Like I came up with that before as well. But I think with the prevalence of battle royales and that kind of nonsense, you know, I think loads of people are going to be doing things along those lines. So it might be a bit oversaturated. You've also just got like Tetris-y games. Sorting out the boxes in a back room to make them all fit nicely and that kind of thing. You've got like a Scrabble board when it starts to get really full. It's more like the traditional side of things. Fortnite in space. Island that's sinking. That's a cool. I like that as a context. Don't leak your ideas in the chat, because I will take them. Also, like, so you've got like lava, oceans, quicksand. There's also a game this reminds me of Greed Corp. So it was like a turn-based thing where you like build these corporations and they eat and destroy the planet kind of thing, and you end up being just dooming everything everywhere. And that's really cool, that kind of like thing where you're like destroying space and getting like less and less and less and less and less. It's like a board game kind of structure to it almost. I'm just writing words on here. This isn't really a mind map, this is just words. I always wanted to make a Tamagotchi game, although I don't see how that really fits this theme. Or there's some sort of like creature breeding game where you just end up with like loads of them or something. Let's kind of a bit down here with that sort of thing. Like an ever-expanding space station. Because you could see the running out of space thing as like you interpret in the way of just like eternal expansion rather than like the hitting the limit of running out of space. Snake is definitely one of those as well, yeah. Grown too big for environment. I'm kind of liking this like board game ideas like Greed Corp. Press the space bar a limited number of times. I like that. It's cute. Oh, you're also just like an infinite runner that takes you like literally out of outer space. You do the easiest thing. Fire is consuming the forest. Oh, that one, yeah. Flames as well. That's another thing for the things that consume. Got kind of global warming themes that could be looked at here. Like a make as much money as you can before the planet is doomed game. I think I'm really liking the Greed Corp kind of feel to this, but I don't know how I would. I don't want to just make Greed Corp, you know, like what would be interesting about my take on that kind of thing. But I find the idea of making that type of thing fun. I am, yeah. I'm doing alright, Littlewood. No idea what I'm going to make yet, but c'est la vie. C'est la game jam. Hey, Napoleon 89. Glad to have you back. Nah, I should play Braid more. Do enjoy that game. But It's hard to divide your time amongst the million things you want to do. Money consuming space is an interesting one. What is, oh, that's the other one as well. It's like traveling games with limited inventory, and where limited inventory is like a big deal. What's it called? Out There Somewhere? Omega Edition or whatever the hell it's called. Do I have it on here? Oh, maybe I don't have it on here. I have it on something. On Humble or something like that. I'm sure it'll be on Steam. Oh no, it's just called Out There. Out There Somewhere's a different game. I knew there were two with very similar names. Yeah, this game. So you like travel. It's kind of like a 2D simple like storified No Man's Sky in a way. Where you're going from planet. I very much like it with the languages and stuff like that. Actually thinking about it. You go redeem these different planets and they have different qualities and stuff like that. And similar to how No Man's Sky's inventory and stuff works, where you have like limited space, you keep having to pick which things you want to hang on to, and you have to build things in the same spots and that kind of thing. It's an interesting take on it, like see you, Raskar. Total Annihilation's a pretty sweet game. I feel like I don't want to go too complex. One, for the obvious reasons of jams, you shouldn't go too complex, but the last few jams I've done, I've specifically made the mistake of going a bit too complex. Which is a thing you do. I think as your confidence rises, you tend to try and go for more and more ambitious things, but I think I need to scale it back a bit. Make something I know I can definitely finish cleanly for once. Yeah, it does, I guess. Alright, so, I mean, I've written a few things down here. We thought about the theme for a bit, for about 20 minutes, actually longer than I was planning. So I'm going to call this stream here, and I will see you guys, those of you who want to watch this, tomorrow at some point when I wake up. Possibly 10, possibly 11, I don't know. Because it's not going to be as soon as I wake up. I've got to wake up, I've got to have breakfast, got to have a shower, and all those kind of fun things. And I've also got to come up with something that I'm going to make, so I've got to do that as well, so that's going to be a whole thing. But this is a good start. I think there's a lot of cool, interesting ways I can go on. It's going to be hard for me to settle, because there's lots of different cool ways we could go. It's a good theme. All the themes, I think, this time were pretty alright. You know, I think some were better than others, which is why I voted some up more than others, but I think they were all good, and even when you get really bad themes, the theme doesn't matter. So I think we've done pretty well with this one. I think it's good. Is there anything else I wanted to say? I don't think so. If you're a Patreon supporter of mine, a new video's just gone out. You can go check that out. If you're not, another one will be out next Friday. In fact, even if you're not, a video went out today anyway. So there's a new video of mine out. You can go learn how multiple collisions work in GameMaker. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hello, Green Retro Man. What's up is I'm now leaving, and I'll be back in the morning, because I'm going to go to sleep. Thank you for watching. There's plenty of other people streaming Ludum Diary. If you're up and you want to go now, just head ldjam.com. There's a little thing, list of streamers, and you can go find all the cool people streaming Ludum Diary right now. But thank you all for stopping by and watching, and I will see you guys when I see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.